Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Monster Hunter World video, and today I want to take a moment to call out a few interesting observations from the three maps we've currently seen: Ancient Forest, Wildspire Waste, and the Coral Highlands. I mentioned in my last video that I recorded a complete map tour of the Ancient Forest while I was at Gamescom and never quite got around to uploading it in its entirety, but I have been systematically splicing bits of it into the videos you guys have been watching lately, so instead of uploading the whole thing, I thought I'd talk about a few interesting topics instead, 6 to be precise. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below and let me know if you guys have any questions. Now, first up, coming in at number 1, the entrance to Astera. Astera is the name of the hub town in Monster Hunter World. We've seen gameplay of it thanks to a TGS livestream, and if you missed that, then I'll leave a link to the video down below. But rather interestingly, the entrance to Astera can actually be found at the edge of the Ancient Forest. From the base camp, if you run towards the beach where the Great Jagras is typically found in the demo, then just beyond that point are the front gates. You can't walk in here, or at least I couldn't in the demo, and I imagine you won't be able to during main quests either, but it's rather interesting to see how everything is connected. When you look at the world map, you can see that this is the Ancient Forest and this is Astera, so that does of course prompt the question as to whether other zones are possibly connected, or at least visible from other points of the map, perhaps high vantage points. It is of course worth calling out, you will never be able to, say, walk from the Ancient Forest to the Wildspire Waste, but regardless, being able to see other things in a distance is still pretty cool. It also makes me think that this will likely be a route that we take at the very beginning of the game, since at the very end of the prologue, or at least what I'm calling the prologue because that's what it seems to be, the part where you fly away from Zora Magdalos, you then crash land in the Ancient Forest, and beyond that point we don't know what happens since they ended the livestream, but given the crash site's proximity to the door, I'm willing to bet that this is the path we take at the very beginning of the game. Moving on from there, in at number 2, we actually have something from Wildspire Waste. I never actually got around to doing a complete Wildspire Waste breakdown since I was at Gamescom at the time. My focus was on the weapon videos instead, but one of the really cool things that did crop up was the ability to hire the local Wildcats to trap the Baroth, and of course by extension other monsters too. I've spoken about the Wildcats before when explaining how your Palicos can gain the ability to ride smaller monsters. Again, link down below if you guys missed that, but the Wildcats have many roles besides just teaching your Palicos the language of the local monsters. Sometimes they can join your team, other times, like this, they can band together to deploy what is effectively an environmental trap, similar to, say, kicking a shock frog or a flash fly, but this time round it's a net. Pretty handy if you can learn where they're typically located, since you could then take advantage of something like the Challenger Mantle to lure the monster to this specific location and then trap it. However, while on the topic of Wildcats, in at number 3, you can actually locate them on the map. There's a lot of information on the map this time round, lots of things that can be tracked in real time, things that can be tracked via your scout flyers, and these cats are also another option. You can see here, this little collection of icons, these are the cats. In fact, once you're close by, you can see the markers through the environment if you're tracking them. But in the event that you want to seek them out, then this should make it a little easier to find them since they're often quite high up. It's also handy to know their locations since, as mentioned just a moment ago, they serve many different purposes. In this instance, one of the cats is an expert trapper and can join my team, just like the small monsters can. So while in Monster Hunter World you can only ever bring one Palico with you on a quest, that doesn't mean to say that you're limited to just one companion. True, these companions are temporary, but again, if you learn their locations, they can be something you can call on in times of need. Moving on from there to number 4, that big rock in the centre of the Ancient Forest. If you have a glider mantle, you can actually get on top of it. Why is this even remotely useful, you ask? Well, environmental traps like this can be triggered in a number of different ways. You can fire something from your slinger into it, be that a seed, a rock, or even a precious paralysis or poison knife, and that'll then cause it to come loose and fall down, hopefully on the monster's unsuspecting head. However, in the event that you were too lazy to gather items, only to realise later that you can't fire anything from your slinger since you have nothing to fire, then at times like that you need to be a little bit more resourceful. The combination of grappling hook, vine swinging, and good mantle gliding allows you to get up here, at which point you could then hit it with your blade, or plant a bomb should you wish. After that, in at number 5, the small wyverns you see floating on the maps are your ticket to a quick and easy ride around the map. We've seen these used a couple of times in different live streams, but if you fire something at one of them from your slinger, a red pit or some other kind of seed, they'll then come a little lower to the ground, giving you the ability to grapple onto them and ride them around the map. It's worth noting these Wyverns have predetermined paths, you're not in control of them when this happens, but what is interesting to note is that you appear to be able to hop onto one of them mid-combat as a means to escape should things get hairy. Sort of like a Farcaster, only not quite as quick. I haven't seen any Farcasters in game just yet, so I don't know whether they still exist or not. Of course, only time will tell. For those of you guys new to the series, Farcasters are an item from previous titles that you throw on the ground to teleport back to base, handy if you're about to die. You might however begin to ask, well, why would I want to ride one of these when I could just fast travel to the nearest base camp? And while yes, that is a valid point, there are two things to remember. One, fast travel only works if you are out of combat, so if you're being chased, then it's of no use to you whatsoever. And two, base camps aren't always located exactly where you want to go. So if you learn the Wyvern routes as well, then between those and the base camps, you will be able to maximize your efficiency when map traveling. Great for those of you guys that want to speedrun. Then finally, to round it out, number 6, this elder looking NPC that appears in the Wildspire Waste. He is a local. According to the Capcom livestream, characters like this show up randomly and you can speak to them to get some information, but more importantly, they aren't always there. So it's worth speaking to them as and when you see them. But that, my friends, is pretty much it. Those were just a few quick map-specific observations that I wanted to call out. Some may be new to you, others may be less so, but now it's all in one place. That is also most of my Gamescom footage finally used up, but I do still have a few more things planned, so as always, keep it locked for more Monster Hunter World coverage. Hopefully we get a new trailer soon with Paris Games Week and the Game Awards on the horizon. It'd be nice to think that one of those two events could give us something else to go on. But anyway, for the time being, thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.